You made it work.
This has to be
Okay,
satire.
I kind of hate more.
Stop! I've had enough. So it seems like I've garnered a reputation on the internet for ruining clothes. And usually I ignore hate comments. But when I saw this one that had 153,000 likes, that was my last straw. Now I had no choice. I had to make something so cool that would change everyone's mind. And what better way than making my own outfit for New York Fashion Week?
The plan was simple. I had 7 days to make a skirt entirely out of men's ties. But where in the hell would I be able to find so many ties with such short notice? Well, I figured my best bet was a thrift store, so I prayed to the thrift gods that I would be able to find some, and boom, I ended up finding an entire tub of ties. Thank you, thrift gods. With our ties in hand, it was time to actually start making the skirt. And the first step of our project was to make a waistband to attach the ties to. However, instead of making one myself, I thought it would be easier to take the waistband from a pair of old pants, but was quickly proven very wrong because it actually took me way longer than expected. Not only did I have to seam rip the entire thing, I also had to sew it back together. And before I knew it,
We're an hour in, but this is all I have. Yeah, I'm screwed.
Once I finally finished the waistband, I laid out all my ties on the floor and tried to figure out how I wanted the skirt to look. It was honestly a lot tougher than it looked because I had to figure out which ties look good next to one another, and I had to make sure that all the different colored ties were evenly distributed as well. Eventually, I ended up figuring it out, and then it was time to cut the ties. Before doing that though, I made sure to measure exactly how long I needed them to be, since I wanted a maxi skirt, and proceeded to cut all of the ties to match. Now it was time for the part that I dreaded the most, sewing.
Here goes nothing.
You see, I went through a sewing phase back in quarantine, but completely stopped ever since. So I was very out of practice, and I wasn't quite sure if I would remember how to do any of it. But I ended up being pleasantly surprised because sewing was just like muscle memory. Even though my brain didn't remember how to do certain things, my body did. My hands just started moving on their own, and before I knew it, I was sewing again with no problem. So for the next 2 hours, I proceeded to painstakingly sew each tie on one by one. And now, it was finally time for the big reveal. Here's what the tie skirt looked like after 3 hours of work. Yeah, I was only able to complete about 1/10 of the skirt today, so I was getting worried. Would I be able to finish this tie skirt in time for New York Fashion Week?
I certainly hope so.
But
With the speed that I'm going at, it's gonna take me quite a while.